Almost every superhero has an evil opposite. Spider-Man has Venom, Superman has Bizarro, and Shazam, the hero formerly known as Captain Marvel, has the deadliest of them all, Black Adam. Powered by the same mystical lightning that makes his nemesis so formidable, Adam has all of Shazam's powers and is far more ruthless in using them. He's easily one of DC's most popular villains, but that wasn't always the case. Here's the untold truth of Black Adam. Black Adam appears. To say that Captain Marvel was popular in the 40s might be the biggest understatement in superhero history. Captain Marvel adventures legendarily outsold Superman, and in 1945, Fawcett launched yet another comic for Cap and his sidekicks that would run for 89 issues, The Marvel Family. For the launch of a new magazine, Otto Binder and C.C. Beck knew they needed a pretty big story. So they put a new spin on an idea they'd already tried with a villain named Ibak, who is powered by history's greatest evils. In The Mighty Marvels Join Forces, they revealed that Billy Batson wasn't the first mortal to wield the power of Shazam. The original was Teth Adam, an Egyptian man who lived 5,000 years ago and was chosen for what the wizard saw as the purity of his soul. Unfortunately, power corrupts, and being the most powerful person on Earth quickly went to Adam's head. After snapping a pharaoh's neck, a bit of violence that's pretty shocking by Shazam standards, Adam was exiled by the wizard to the farthest star, from which it coincidentally took him about 5,000 years to return. When the Marvel family tricked him into saying Shazam, all that time caught up with him, and Teth Adam quickly aged so fast that he turned to dust before their eyes. And believe it or not, that's how he stayed for the next 30 years. Back in Black. After crumbling to dust in 1945, Black Adam wasn't seen again until DC started publishing Shazam in the 70s, with the title change because Marvel Comics had snapped up Captain Marvel in 1967 for their own cosmic hero. In Shazam number 28, Dr. Sivana, with an assist from Otto Binder and legendary Superman artist Kurt Schaffenberger, employed a reincarnation machine to bring Adam back to life and set him loose to destroy Boston. Unfortunately for Adam, his second outing wound up going exactly the same as his first one, right down to being tricked into saying Shazam. This time, though, he stuck around long enough to cement himself as one of the Shazam family's greatest foes. What's in a magic name? If you're up on your comics trivia, you're probably aware that Shazam's magic word gave him the attributes of 6 mythological patrons: the wisdom of Solomon, the strength of Hercules, the courage of Achilles, the power of Zeus, the stamina of Atlas, and the speed of Mercury. Considering how similar they are, you might assume that Black Adam drew from the same sources for his own powers, but that turned out to not be the case. When Billy realized that being 5,000 years old put Black Adam squarely before the time of wise King Solomon, the wizard explained that he was powered by Egyptian deities, with the stamina of Shu, the strength of Hershef, the power of Ammon, the wisdom of Zehuti, the speed of Anpu, and the courage of Minthu. If a few of those don't sound too familiar, well, that's because Binder fudged it a little, using lesser-known names for a few of the gods. Zehuti and Anpu, for instance, are definitely more well-known as Thoth and Anubis. As for why he bothered to change Anubis when it already fit the acronym, your guess is as good as ours. Theo Adam and the Power of Shazam. In 1987, the Shazam family was formally inducted into the DC Universe following Crisis on Infinite Earths, but with all his similarities to Superman, it didn't really work until writer-artist Jerry Ordway relaunched The Power of Shazam in 1994. One of Ordway's biggest changes in updating Captain Marvel for the 90s came from the way he reimagined Black Adam. He was the first creator to make Adam into the book's primary villain from the start, not just for Captain Marvel, but for Billy Batson, too. Rather than just being an ancient Egyptian warrior, Ordway's take gave the villain a modern-day secret identity: Theo Adam, a greedy archaeologist who accompanied Billy's parents on a dig and eliminated them in a fit of rage in order to get his hands on a priceless artifact. Even worse, that artifact allowed him to transform into Black Adam, becoming Captain Marvel's first and greatest arch-nemesis. Not only was he his evil opposite, but he was also the guy who took his parents from him, mixing a touch of Batman into Billy's origin. In 1999, Ordway would add another interesting twist when Adam started saving people, and even turned himself into the Justice League, claiming to be innocent of Theo Adam's crimes. In both an earthly courtroom and a mystical trial, he proved that Theo Adam and Teth Adam were actually two different people who happened to share a body due to the wizard's magic, and that every evil act had been done under Theo's influence before Teth Adam had been able to regain control. With that, Adam was reformed. More or less. While he still occasionally found himself operating as a supervillain due to Theo's lingering influence, Adam was heroic enough that he even joined the Justice Society of America. The ultra-violent King of Kahndaq. Remember how Black Adam's very first appearance in 1945 started off with him snapping a dude's neck and taking over his country? Despite his seeming reformation, that tendency towards shocking on-panel violence was something that remained a part of Adam's character all the way through the modern age, and in the 21st century it was ramped up to the extreme. His most famous act of ridiculously over-the-top brutality came when he shoved the Psycho Pirate's eyes through the back of his head. But he also vanquished Terra from the Teen Titans by punching through her torso, and at one point, after being stripped of his powers, even resorted to cannibalism. The idea, it seems, was to make him as dark as Shazam was bright, but it's easy to argue that creators of that era went too far. When Black Adam was rebooted once again in 2011, he was still undeniably villainous, but that level of blood and gore was apparently left behind. If you smell what Black Adam's cooking. The biggest piece of Black Adam news to come along, well, ever, has undoubtedly been the casting of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in DC's cinematic universe. In 2014, after years of speculation, it was revealed that Johnson will be taking on the role of Teth Adam, perhaps making his first appearance in the sequel to Suicide Squad. As exciting as that is, it's also pretty surprising for Johnson to be cast as the villain. Shazam is based on the childhood power fantasy of a kid who can transform into the coolest adult he can imagine. With that in mind, he seems like a much more natural fit for the hero. What kid wouldn't want to say a magic word and turn into The Rock?